Part 2 is a look at the early history of quality and the roots of what we see today in both the United States and Japan. Frederick Taylor is known as the father of scientific management. He's also known in some circles as the father of industrial engineering. Scientific management was the idea that there is one best way to do anything. And so the search was for what was that one best way. Taylor also developed time and motion study. We know that today as time study. That's done several different ways, and it's used to develop standards and to also determine efficiency. Taylor believed that management and labor should cooperate and people should be treated fairly, and part of that was the idea of balancing work evenly among workers in a work area. He did not, however, believe that workers had the ability to understand scientific management or contribute to finding the one best way, and that was left up to specialists and management to figure that out. Taylor's basic ideas are still widely respected today, although some famous people really did not agree with him on many respects. Probably one of the most significant events in the history of quality and productivity, as well as in the concept of mass production, was the Rouge plant, which Henry Ford built to produce his first automobile. It was a fully integrated, vertically set up production system from steel making to final assembly. It operated with a fixed cycle time, producing one car per cycle, and everything was in a linear flow from beginning to end. The fact that there were no options or accessories, that all cars were identical, really helped Henry Ford to be able to put together a repetitive process that could be optimized. Not having variation between types of cars was really important for that early vertical integration. It's the first example of lean manufacturing, and he used scientific management, and Frederick Taylor was there helping him to do it, in order to figure out what was that one best way to do every operation so that work was balanced within the cycle time from beginning to the end. This was a hinge point in the world of quality, as we'll see in the next slide. The Rouge plant was really a special place. It was very efficient. It had linear flow, and the workers were very productive. The other American manufacturers came to look at it, as well as Mr. Toyota from Japan. But they saw two different things. What the American manufacturers saw were the highly efficient operators. What Mr. Toyota saw was the linear flow. So the American manufacturing companies, in order to try to keep things efficient, when they had to introduce variety and they couldn't balance the lines as well, was they decided to go offline with subassembly operations. But what that did was it created a lot of material handling, which never stopped, and added a lot of overhead to the cost of production. What Mr. Toyota saw, and what eventually became the Toyota manufacturing system or the Toyota production system, was the linear flow and doing everything you can to keep things on the same line, even though you have to balance and give up a few things. So this was really a very critical point in the world of manufacturing. And I think it would behoove everyone in management that's trying to understand the difference between what goes on in traditional American production and in modern Japanese production to understand these two differences. In the early stages of scientific management, we see the roots of the traditional American quality movement. The overriding assumption was that poor quality was the result of somebody not doing their job right. There was a heavy reliance on inspection followed by repair, and a lot of work went into monitoring employees, reducing inspection error, doing effective repair, and training employees. Another underwriting assumption was that in order to improve quality, you had to add inspectors and increase costs. Also, there was a belief that there was no way that you could reduce quality problems completely, that there always be a certain amount of defects that would get out. And so there was kind of an acceptance of a certain level of poor quality. When I worked for General Motors from 1967 to 1982, we were still operating under this traditional American quality model. Heavy reliance on inspection, a lot of repair, and a lot of work went into trying to improve our quality without adding too much cost for inspection. We can see that during that same period of time is when the Toyota production system was starting to produce cars of higher quality and having a major impact on market share in the United States.